Rumors return, says Adam Helliker. Just as the royal family is enjoying a boost in its popularity after Prince Harry's wedding, the Queen may be forgiven for sighing with exasperation at the prospect of a renewed wave of speculation about the extramarital wanderings allegedly made by Prince Philip during his prime. The gossip centers on new revelations about the relationship between Philip and his carriage-driving companion Penny Bruborne, now Countess Mountbatten, who for years has been a guest at the weekend house parties he holds, without the Queen, at Wood Farm on the Sandringham estate. The closeness between Philip and Penny, 65, who lives apart from her husband, is examined in a book, The Queen's Marriage, to be published next month. The author is Lady Colin Campbell, whose last biography caused apoplexy in the royal household with its lurid revelations about the Queen Mother. Lady Campbell, known as Georgie, says she is unable to comment on the book's contents because of a publishing embargo, but last year, while researching it, she told me, "I have many close friends who know what has gone on and I'm examining all the rumors in a responsible manner. It will be accurate. I do not set out to be sensational." The author, who appeared on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, adds that she is a great admirer of the Queen and Philip, and that she intended to convey as much in her book. Georgie, briefly married to the 11th Duke of Argyll's younger son Lord Colin Campbell, has always sailed closer to the edge than most royal authors. Her 1992 biography, Diana in Private, was widely recognized, after initial derision, to be the first book that exposed the details of Prince Charles's calamitous marriage. Although she has always maintained that ultimately people appreciate being told the truth, Lady C is prepared for the inevitable censure for investigating just how far Philip has followed his roving eye during his 70-year marriage. While there has long been speculation about his friendship with Penny Mountbatten, there have been many other names cited. They include alluring aristocrats the Duchess of Abercorn, who denies the rumors, and the Countess of Westmoreland, Daphne du Maurier, actresses Merle Oberon and Anna Massey, and TV star Katie Boyle. No wonder that, at 97, Philip might feel like a bit of rest. The nation's increased longevity has meant more work for the Queen, or rather her staff, with the number of centenarians rising by 70% in the past decade. Buckingham Palace says that so far during her reign, 240,000 telegrams have been sent to those reaching their 100th birthdays, and 740,000 to couples on their diamond wedding anniversaries. Which is why is advertising for an extra flunky who, for £21,000 a year, will help prepare the messages that mean so much to so many people. Only another 3 years until the sovereign will, hopefully, be putting a happy 100th message alongside Prince Philip's breakfast egg. And in 2026 she will have to congratulate herself. The good news for all those red-blooded chaps who swiveled their heads in the direction of Lady Kitty Spencer at Harry's wedding is that the blue-eyed blonde is very much single. Princess Diana's 27-year-old niece has been unattached since last summer, when Italian property dealer Nicola Barotteri di San Pietro ended their 3-year romance. She wants a family, but he's 46 and already has 3 kids from his first marriage, so he wouldn't commit, reports a friend. She was hurt at the time, but she's ready to date again. Before smoothing Nicola, the most significant previous relationship for Kitty was with batsman Nick Compton, 34, grandson of legendary England cricketer Dennis Compton. Now living in Chelsea, Kitty grew up in Cape Town, where her mother Victoria moved after the end of her marriage to Earl Spencer. Her weekends are often spent with her father, who has twice remarried, at Althorpe, the Spencers' Northamptonshire estate. Kitty has forged lucrative links with fashion brands. She has become an ambassador for the jewelers Bulgari and was wearing a Dolce & Gabbana dress at the wedding in Windsor, but she spends her spare time volunteering for Give Us Time. This brilliant charity matches one-week breaks donated by owners of holiday homes with British soldiers and their families. It's the brainchild of Dr. Liam Fox, who, first as an army medic and later as defense secretary, became aware that homecomings were not always magical experiences for those returning from war zones. It's raining men for Son Lloyd, and the frisky forecaster is only too happy to accept their advances, with younger ones especially welcome to warm up any cold front she may be experiencing. The UK's longest-serving weather presenter has been single for 2 years since the abrupt end of her marriage to entrepreneur Jonathan Ashman. Previously she had endured an ill-fated engagement to former Liberal MP Lembit Opek. The Welsh-born meteorologist was depressed after her husband walked out of their 8-year union but is now happily dating. "I've got plenty of people asking me out," she tells me, admitting that most of the men are far younger than she is at 59. "I don't want to sound as if I'm showing off, but I'm having a good time. With younger men it's flattering. Although I think age-appropriate is nice because you have the same cultural references. I feel a lot more confident now, because you know what you want at this age. You have intuition, and a gut feeling works for me." The news that John Malkovich is to play Hercule Poirot in a BBC adaptation of Agatha Christie's The ABC Murders may be unsettling for any of the TV crew who have grown used to dealing with the charming David Suchet. The American star is an altogether edgier sort, prone to outbursts such as the time he punched through a bus driver's glass door when he did not stop for him, or when he took revenge on a mugger in New York. The actor ran home, grabbed a knife, tracked down his assailant, then pinned him against a tree, snarling, "One more word from you and you're dead." These days Malkovich, 64, claims to be as fastidiously self-controlled as the Belgian detective he will be playing. He now likes to relax with a spot of embroidery, declaring, "My main interests are shopping and sewing." After weeks of splashing about as he trained for a forthcoming film about a group of middle-aged men who enjoy synchronized swimming, Rob Brydon wants to spend more time in the pool. Brydon, 53, enthuses, "By heavens, all that swimming was exhausting, but, oh, the sleeps you have after a day of physical activity. I haven't slept that well since my childhood. There's something wonderful about swimming. Not to get too Freudian, but there's a bit of returning to the womb about it, the warmth, the fact that it's noiseless." As the daughter of the late writer and lawyer Sir John Mortimer, whose brilliant creations included Drumpole of the Bailey, the actress Emily Mortimer grew up surrounded by books. Her father used to read her P.G. Wodehouse and Charles Dickens as bedtime stories, teaching her that a book could be both a comfort and a freedom. So it's fitting that Emily, 46, who took up acting after studying Russian at Oxford, is the star of The Bookshop, a film about a widow who opened such an enterprise in 1950s Suffolk. "I love how a book goes through a few weeks of your life with you and then sits on your shelf as a marker to what was happening in your life when you were reading it," says Emily, who lives in New York with her husband, actor Alessandro Nivola, and their 2 children. "The only problem is that as I've got older and busier, with kids, my brain has ceased to function. By 9 p.m., I'll read 3 pages, dribble onto them and fall asleep." As a loquacious panelist on Loose Women, there isn't much that Nadia Sawalha hasn't revealed about herself, whether it's talking about her psoriasis, losing her hair, or the supposed benefits of drinking her own urine. But there's one aspect of her body that Nadia, 53, is uncharacteristically coy about. "I've got terrible cellulite," she admits, "and I said to the team we should have someone showing theirs, because there's still such a taboo around it. But I'm so self-conscious about it, there's no way I could show mine in the studio." Bad news for presenter Mark Wright, who will never be top dog to his wife Michelle Keegan. Asked who had been the love of her life, the Stockport-born star of the BBC drama Our Girl, 30, replies, "My dog Phoebe. I went from a young girl to a young woman with her by my side. She never judged me, and if I did something wrong, she still loved me." The subject of Aidan Turner's rippling torso has become a bore, according to his Poldark co-star Eleanor Tomlinson. "It's all people seem to be talking about," she sighs. "When you make 8 hours of television and people can only remember 2 scenes, you're like, oh, come on." Yet with a grin Eleanor, 26, adds, "Don't get me wrong. I'm looking, going, sure, I'm with you, ladies. But I can see why he gets frustrated with it." Hugh Grant feels sympathy for Jeremy Thorpe after playing the former Liberal leader in the BBC's A Very English Scandal. "It was a serious scandal, but it was also sad and romantic," says Grant, "because poor old Jeremy was unable to admit or talk about his gay side. He was never really able to enjoy a full romantic relationship in his life as he couldn't admit to being gay. So many men at that